Hi, welcome to Radio FM 88 Australia, broadcasting live free to air in Springwood, Queensland. Download the app on radiofm88.com.au or listen through Radio FM 88, or you can watch the show through any one of the Facebook shows live. And my name's Jeffrey Shaw. Co-host in the top right-hand corner is Julia Chai, and on the top left-hand corner is our one and only Ermond Machina. That's right. Fantastic. I've got to get that vibration right. And
Thank you.
Pretty brilliant.
Nice to be
here. Yeah. And I'm going to hand you over to Julia to open you up like a can of beans and find out more about that. Yeah.
Hopefully it's just beans. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, dear hearts. Delighted to have our special guest, Ermond, on tonight. And the subject we're going to talk about is meditations, awakened man, and different dimensions, like from the current one all the way up to the 15th dimension and beyond. So welcome, everyone. Welcome especially to Ermond this evening. So Ermond, tell us, you're based in Australia. Where did you come to this world?
So I was born in Brisbane. I was born in the Mater Hospital. Born way back in the 80s, just 89. So, and I've mostly been here in Queensland most of my life. Been around Australia and been around the world, but haven't stayed in any other cities. But Queensland has been the home base. Yeah.
Mm. So in 89, that was the year that Tiananmen was on. Was in terms of the zodiac, the Asian horoscope. What animal is that? Do you know?
I think I'm the dragon. It's either like a green dragon or a metal dragon. One of those. But I think that I was born just after the harmonic convergence in 1980, which was 1988. So maybe I was like, I want to be born in a convergence, like right where it's hot and get in there, and when energy is good. Timed it well.
So are there any special stories about your birth? You know, were like you were the baby that didn't cry, that sort of smiled beautifully?
Not really. I partly remember my birth. I remember just freshly coming out and being put on my mum's belly and crying and feeling very cold. Those memories came in only in the last few years, but yeah, no special birth happening there. Not that I know of. Maybe more traumatic as a baby, but I mean that's unfortunately pretty common, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, you've got lots of friends that are coming on to support you. Hello, everyone. So I've been looking at your website, and it's called Evo Love, right? And on that, on the About Us, you used to talk about starting meditating quite early on. I think when you were probably still in 13 or something like that. Is that right?
Well, no, I was actually, well, to go back a little bit, when I was really young, when I was a kid, I was pretty sensitive. I wasn't really seeing some things, but like I was sensitive in a way where I would be laying down in bed and my body would be perfectly still and my body would be rocking left and right and I'd be swinging, but I'd open my eyes and I'd be perfectly still. So, and then I'd see things that would be like apparitions. But one of the key things that happened was, if I had a pen, was I'd be a kid laying down and I had a pen and pretend my finger's a pen and I'd be laying down and I'd be like swinging my pen like across my forehead, and the tip of the pen would be so close to my face, but I'd feel this buzzing right here. And I would play with that buzzing for quite a while actually, and it was so fun, and I did it for like 30 minutes. But I remember one particular time I got up after playing with this buzzing thing, and I heard very clearly inside of me, it was like, you must remember this. And then,
in that voice.
yeah, something like that, you know, and I'm just like a kid, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. And then I didn't think much of it. And I think it was actually a few years down the track, I walked past the TV and I heard the word third eye. And I think back then I was watching, you know, TV shows like Unsolved Mysteries, if you remember that. And I was always open to the paranormal and all this kind of stuff. But when I heard the word third eye, it's like my intuition clicked and I connected this. I was like, oh, this is the third eye, just as a kid. And I didn't think much of it, and I just walked on. And then when I finally got my first computer, which was, I think, just after when I started grade 8, so maybe around 2001, got the internet, you get Google, you can look up anything on there. I think one of the first things I started to look up was the third eye, right? And then this led on to learning about, like back then there was seriously like 2 websites on the third eye. There was nothing. You look today and there's like everything. But back then, yeah, I started to look into, it led me to chakras. It led me to Eastern philosophy. It led me to non-duality. It led me to a whole other alternative perspective, which kind of opened my mind. And then I started to consume information for just 5 years, just looking and reading, just pure interest and curiosity. And I think by that 5 years, around that point, I was getting the inner nudge like, hey, come on, you should meditate now. You've been reading about it, but give it a go. And so I think I was actually about 18 when I first, somewhere around there, when I first meditated back in 2008 or something like that. And I said to the universe at this point, I was like, all right, I've read a few things. And like, if God's real or higher self is real, or there's more to the universe, I'm not just the physical body, there's more than everything I've known, then show me, prove it to me, and I'm all in. And so then I sat down in my bed, closed my eyes, and interestingly enough, I managed to, first time, just managed to get to a point of stillness where it felt like I started to go deeper, and I then started to experience myself more than just this physical body. And I was experiencing an expansion. I was really big and I was really small. I was going through all kinds of energetic shifts and different kinds of phenomenon. And I was thrilled. So that was the first time I meditated. And that was what I know now today, that's what I would call entering what I call as the God gate, which I perceive as the deepest and purest gate in existence. I know that's a big claim, but that's how I see things now. And that point there, once I had that type of experience, as I said, if I was shown stuff, I said I was all in, and I went all in, and I was like, okay. And then I was pretty much running down the hallway in joy because of what I experienced, and I just wanted to share that with whoever was around me. And yeah, from that day forth, I pretty much meditated every single day until today. And so that's over 12 years or something like that now. So that's the first time I meditated.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And Jeff's pulled up a picture. Is that your artistic impression of the God Gate?
This is an impression that's very personal. If you look into someone's aura or energy field, you'll see the aura colors. And then if you look even further into them, you see what some people call as the source colors. They're even deeper layers. And these are essentially my personal source colors. So I've got a big white center, within me. And then around that is a yellow bandwidth of energy. And then around that is a blue. There's like a really light, a thin layer of blue just around that. And that's a representation of my source energy. And in that the two people are in that image is essentially me and what I would call a divine partner, or you could say that masculine and feminine, returning back to that pure white center. So yeah, that was a pretty cool one to make, and simple, but I loved it, and it's got the juice in there.
Yeah, it's the truth, isn't it? Sometimes it's, yeah. Thank you for sharing that, your own source image and impression, and then that what you are in the deepest part of your being. And this is why Jeff and I have invited you on to the show, is because with Dreaming the New Dream, we are really wanting to showcase or highlight people like you who are all in, dedicated. So Jeff, you've brought up this picture. What drew you to bring up that picture, Jeff?
It's your Heaven's Gate, isn't it? Is that the one you're talking about?
I did label this one as Heaven's Gate. I get inspired to create things for different reasons, and this one was it's got it's in this type of a gate, the doorway, you see it's got a white in the middle, and you see all of my artwork has a white center, most of it, and that's the point where I transmit, because my energy is like, people are wired differently, are predisposed to a certain way. Like some people are more disposed as empaths or healers. I'm more of that transmitter flavor, but also like a gatekeeper type of a person. And so when I transmit and I create this, I'm constantly pumping energy out of my heart, and it's constantly coming through out into the image, out into the screen, and embedding into the image. And yeah, when I finish it, it's fully encoded, and with the white part in the middle is usually, because I use the white as representing source, and so that's usually where that's the access point of all my images. Like if you focus on the white bit in any of my art, you'll find that will probably be the highest frequency part or area. So but yeah, that particular image has different has a really deep loving frequency in it, and around it the colors are the blue, that gold, and that magenta, which represents the threefold flame, which is representing the universal founder energies of this particular universe. So it's like you're entering the founder level and you're going into the white, and there's like 3 steps down the bottom that lead to this doorway, which I'm just calling Heaven's Gate as a name on it. But yeah, it's really about feeling it and allowing yourself to go deeper into that image, and because each image is very different, and people can really only perceive it as deeply as they've gone into themselves. So you might see one of my art pieces one day, but if you looked at it in 1 year's time, you'll see and you'll feel it in probably a different way, because these go really, really, really deep. And because these are multi-layered, multi-dimensional, they are far more than just a flat, like a flat piece of paper. I remember looking at like a flat piece of paper back in the days going, what has this got to do with anything? It's just like a paper with some lines on it or some color. Like, but I had no idea back then. I couldn't feel back then, and I was hard as wood. I just couldn't feel. But on this path and on this journey and awakening and opening the heart more, I've been able to transmit through the heart and create things like this.
I've got to say, I first thought it was crystals on the cluster, but as we drove into the actual image there, you could see it's actually like the the buds of a lotus leaf of some description.
Yeah, it is. It is a lotus flower, kind of like a representation of like you know, like you see like Kuan Yin, they'll have like a lotus flower at the bottom of the image. But as well as energetically, I've perceived at the bottom as like a big, it's like a big unfolding petals. Like people describe chakras and they're like talking about petals. I felt them very physically, very viscerally, like very real, not this etheric waffy. It's like very real energetically. And it's, yeah, that's why I did put those there, because the flowers, I don't know, there's something to the flowers. They're special. I don't know what it is, but that's why I have them there. And they mean so much to us on such a deep unconscious level that I don't know if people really unpack that yet, but
yeah, I think I'll talk about flowers, because I remember you know, when you go to the museums and you learn about Gondwana and all that, they actually say that Earth changed when flowers came in. It was all green before that, green plants, but when flowers came, it made a big difference to the whole ecosystem in terms of the flowers and vibrations that we get. And what you were talking about, the pen and the third eye, I think I discovered sticking my nose into roses or flowers, I sort of realized that this would actually vibrate. So whenever I put now I just smell, and then I just sort of tune into the frequency of the flowers, and they've now shown that butterflies can see through UV light, and you know, that we have different rays going through our brain that work on that spectrum that we might not be able to see, but definitely flowers are vibrating just as crystals are. So
yeah.
you mentioned, Ermond, something earlier that awakened my interest, and you talked about having to learn how to feel with your heart, and that you were as hard as wood, was a plank of wood originally, but then you must have been through some experiences or taught yourself or decided to make that an objective. Can you elaborate a little more on that, please?
Yeah, I would hear a lot of people talking about the heart, and I'd be like, I don't feel anything. I'd sit down after meditating and I just couldn't feel much, like nothing. People were talking about, oh, the heart, so much love, it feels so good. I wasn't feeling nothing. And I was like, okay, but there's got to be something more to this, right? There's got to be something. So I started to focus my meditation practice to just bringing my awareness, essentially resting it onto my heart and bringing it down here and just seeing what happens if I stayed here. And yeah, I actually did this. I had a little bit of guidance. There's a guy called Lincoln Gergar who runs a YouTube channel called Channel for Higher Self. He helped me become aware of something called, what I call the spiritual heart, which I recognize as one of the deepest centers in the whole human energy system. And I started to rest in this place. I started to make it kind of like an aim to find this experience, this depth of the heart, and to find out what it's all about. So I literally spent about 6 years, nothing but this practice of just resting on the heart, and very simple, just being purely aware, not trying to change anything, not trying to do anything, not trying to invoke any love, but just resting here. And then after 6 years, like seriously, back in the days, I was meditating. I was on the weekends, I wasn't even going out. Like I was rest, and people were going out on Sundays. I'd be sitting on my chest. that's what I'd be doing for years. And then I remember starting to feel an opening. I started to feel some love. I started to feel, and I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel something here. And there's this good feeling, and I just started to follow the good feeling, essentially. I guess some people would call it chasing the bliss. But eventually, one point, I went, to fast forward a little bit, I went to a point where, I'm like all in, I'm going all in. And I went as deep as I could. And it felt like I was being transported into a deeper inner space where the goodness that I was following, that was in the center of my chest, was actually like as I would go into it, I felt like I was going deeper into the center of my being. And the deeper that I would end up going into, not physically obviously, but energetically deeper into myself, I would then find that I started to experience that I was, everything that was in the center of my chest was actually everywhere all at once. The bliss and the love that I felt here was like everywhere. So, and I realized that it was here the whole time. And I've had experiences where I've literally dropped to my knees because of the amount of love that has poured through my heart and my body, that reverberated through my cells for weeks, for months, that just lingered and integrated because of the opening and the awakening of the heart. Because it's a powerful thing to open the heart, because people are like, it's the heart, it's so soft and it's fluffy. Like, yes, it can be, but the heart is also a cosmic fusion engine that's like, will power like when it wants to be, when it needs to be. The heart is really powerful. It's the real power center. And yeah, I started to realize basically that everything that was out there was really inside the heart, and in that heart it is everywhere. So it was essentially what I had read about all these years ago, about true oneness, a true unity, a true wholeness. That is everything is connected, and then there is this true love and this true essence that is through creation and beyond creation. So yeah, it was a really beautiful experience to begin to open the heart, and I continue to rest in my heart as a daily practice now. It's so profound for me. I think there's a practice called Hiridaya that's pretty similar to what I do. But
Gosh,
yeah.
it sounds like you cracked through. In the Celestine prophecies, they've got that, that description of the man who walks into a room and or on a subway and changes all the discordant energies when people are a bit cross with each other or upset, just by resting in their heart.
It's powerful. The heart is very powerful. It's like when people are on, your heart and energy will literally start to shift the entire field, the entire room. People that are sensitive will notice their own heart awaken, and that's part of like what a awakened man is or awakened woman is like everyone will start, when you look into someone's heart that is heart open or awake, you will feel your own heart open, and they will remind you of what is inside of your own heart. And that's what I would love to see all of us. I think if everyone opened their heart, like in the next few days, this whole world would completely change. It'd be completely different. And it has everything. It has everything we need, everything you need to know, because it's like the heart is like connected to a intelligence, because we have our own personal intelligence, but it goes deeper into a universal cosmic intelligence. So when we're like following this guidance and following this heart, it can guide us to the most harmonious pathways in life, or the more graceful path. And well, just to share this, one of the ways, I think this would be a good share, how I receive guidance. I regularly receive guidance from my heart, and it's quite simple. And when I'm receiving guidance, so I will tune in for a yes or a no. Like, I realized that I was walking around this whole place with looking for external guidance, and I really wanted the internal guidance, and I needed to find a way to get clear answers from the purest source inside. And so I was like, man, if I just get a yes and a no, if I can discern that for myself, it's kind of like game over. I'm smooth sailing from here. And I eventually just rested my awareness into the center of my chest, and then I asked, okay, show me, like I connected to the deepest part of me, and I'm like, show me a yes response. And nowadays it's like a yes is like an opening in my chest. It's like this big yes. It's like energy's flowing out, here out of the center, and it's just a big yes. And then that can be accompanied by a cool sensation or a warmth or a loving sensation. And then a no response for me would be a constriction on the heart. It would be like a tightness, or it would feel like energy still trying to come out, but it's sort of bumping against this wall, and it's very different. So that's a no response for me. And it gets, you know, and as you develop more, I became more aware of the nuances of that. So I became aware of a yes, but, or a yes, and you need to get more information. Or when you start to ask information, like, and you get an answer like a yes, I'll start to pull in more information, because then the heart has more knowing and pretty much universal access. This is your universal access point. Ultimately, if you go deep enough, you'll get all your answers here. It's already inside of you. Yeah, it's the way home. So yeah, if this is one of the things, like, if you haven't found a way to get clear answers within yourself, I would totally recommend having a go and almost trying to almost like setting it as a goal, like, okay, I'm gonna try to get a yes or a no, and allow my heart to direct the way I move through life, because I found that it's way better to follow the heart by far to follow the heart. It's so much better, so much more fulfilling.
So Jeff, did you want to just switch back to that picture? I was really interested in that one.
The diamond heart, iridescent.
Yep. This is a representation of, we have a heart, obviously, but then we have a heart chakra, which most people are familiar of. And then if you go into deeper layers, you can have what some people have called, it really doesn't have a name, but this is called a diamond heart. Diamond heart, yeah. And this particular energy, I think this is like 23D energy, but it's, yeah, it when I was creating this and I was transmitting this, I was kind of like sitting in this diamond, and it was emanating from the center of my heart. This diamond heart, though, I had to kind of rebuild in my energy system. It wasn't originally in my energy system, and I had to rebuild it and activate it. And once I embody something, yeah, I can share it. So like Jeff zoomed in here, that's the white point. That's, as I said, that's where I focus a lot of my transmissions towards. So that would be like a center point. So if you're feeling it now, that's like the strongest point, you could say. And if you just allow yourself to rest into it and feel it, you can benefit and receive it. And if you even want to, you can consciously interact with it and say, I choose to receive what's for my highest good from this image. And you may experience something. And people describe all kinds of experiences as they look into my artwork. It's quite fascinating in itself. Never know what to expect, and it's a real blessing.
That's really interesting, because when I started working with clients in hypnotherapy and leading them to connect with their higher selves, or I wouldn't necessarily, I'd be working with all ages, sometimes with retired people, you know, from the church or from different backgrounds. So I'd be a bit careful about using the term higher self, but sometimes I'd say, you know, look back at yourself and through the eyes of, you know, one of the guides, and see what you look like. And I remember being so surprised when this beautiful lady in her 70s says, you know, I'm a diamond. I'm just this clear white diamond. And just seeing that picture, that gateway that you made, brought that back, you know, that sort of sheer joy and simplicity and truth of that, of being that. So you mentioned that 23rd dimension, and this is one of the reasons also I'm really quite interested in chatting to you. You know, I have enough difficulty trying to explain 2D to 5D. You've got this interesting chart on your website, and you know, you've done a lot of work in yourself and connected with your different dimensional selves. and you've helped me also connect with my 15th dimensional self. So could you talk a little more about that?
Okay, so dimensions, there are different models of dimensions, and the model, I'm not using the science-based model. I'm using a model that is originally shared by the Guardian Perspective through someone called Lisa Renee. And I go with these models because it resonates with my heart. So like I was saying before, I find my heart has the source information. It has a huge ass database of information, and I verify everything with my own internal knowledge, my own source knowledge. So this kind of my own source knowledge, my own energy, we are existing in a time matrix, and this time matrix is, well, there's a universal matrix, there's a local universe that we're in, and then there's a time matrix. The time matrix is based on 12 dimensions, and with 12, each dimensions has 12 subharmonics within it. And so the 12 dimensions, pretty significant number, is the time. So in every dimension, there is a body or an aspect of self. Mind you, I'm very simplifying this. This goes far beyond what I'm describing here and what people could probably digest in a short amount of time. But
got the right thing on.
Yeah. This is more of a complex thingy, but this is what I've called a universal stream. But to the right of the image, you'll see like a blue column, and that each dimension, I have one main aspect that if you looked at me now on that dimension, I would be that body. So it is like a 7D Cassiopeia there. If you looked at me, I'd have a female Cassiopeia body. Cassiopeia being that star system, and Calf being the star that she's from.
So what does she look like?
I haven't really tuned into her specifically, but a lot of them, like what's one of them? What's pretty cool? Like there's dragons, like the good dragons. They're awesome. There's a lot of them are humanoid. Some of them I have blue skin. They're fascinating. This is a bit of an older document though, so it's kind of changed. Like your aspects can change, and yeah. So in our particular universe, our local universe, there is 15 dimensions, at least in the model I'm talking about. And actually, there's actually more because, like us, our universe is actually expanding as well. So it's actually expanded into a new, like I've listed a certain amount of dimensions there, but it's actually going a lot bigger than what it is now. But yeah, 12 dimensions of time helps.
So how does it interrelate? I mean, like if you could I often talk about, us being in a video game, and say if we took Super Mario, you're in the different levels. So you say you've got like the 15 or 17 dimensions there. Is everybody just playing a different role on their level, or is it more like an evolution that, from a flower, different petals are coming out? Do they interact? What's your personal experience? Because I know you've tuned into different aspects of yourself. How do they interrelate?
They all interact. Like everything is like here and now. So ultimately, the more we perceive, because we're only perceiving like a really, like everyone knows, we're perceiving like a really small bandwidth of light and energy, and the spectrum of light and energy that is actually in this current moment is so much more than what we are perceiving. But every aspect, like say your higher dimensional aspects themselves they can be all visible to me, and I can be visible to them. But in the most cases, most of us are walking around here like really just thinking that there's just these physical bodies walking around, but there's so much more happening here, and more beings walking around. There are other beings here on this planet, on other dimensions. They've been here for a very long time. It's not a surprise. It's like yeah, it's, I don't know. What would you like to know?
Well, let's talk about dragons, and I'm actually quite interested because in the certainly in the Asian perspective and some of the other fables you read about that humans and beasts or dragons, in some cases whales, crossed with humans and were the creators and also then later protectors or captured. So and then they sort of became extinct, and now they're just floating around on an energetic level. That's sort of the kind of stuff I hear from just sort of collective myths and stories. But you mention yourself, you've got a dragon self there in one of the dimensions. Have you do you interact with a dragon in this level in your dimension, or can you?
I have had strong experience with dragons, but I don't really I don't really interact with them as much these days. Some of them are like a walk-in. I've had different dragon aspects that are walk-in, benevolent ones, but I did have a very strong experience of when I was maybe around 2010 or 2012, I had the petals, when we were talking about flowers and petals, I had this experience of these petals opening here, and it felt like a cool plasma energy that started to come into my head. It really felt like the top of my head was gone, and it started to go into my head, and I had this cool energy in my head. And what happened was a few months after that, this cool energy started to trickle down my body and nervous system. And what happens is it started to open up the energetic pathways within me and clear blockages, and all these kinds of emotions came up. And it reached a point where it was up, and then it went down through me, it went down. And then once it reached down to the base, down to the root chakra near the hips area, I pretty much heard this voice, and it was pretty much like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, yeah, let's do it, let's go. And what I started to see was dragon energy started to come upwards, flowing up from the root chakra, and it was opening and clearing. But it was it started, and a few months after that, I realized that I had this energy was flowing through, and it reached a block around my solar plexus energy. I had such deep blocks at that point that I had this experience one day where this energy couldn't move up from the solar plexus. So it came out. I started to see this big white dragon, like with my own physical eyes, just coming out and just continuously flowing out of me. And it started to do this big, long serpenty dragon, white. It felt really beautiful, benevolent, and I was just in awe. I was also scared because I was like, what is this? And I just kept having this feeling of like, keep your heart open. Like, this journey, it will lead you to certain things that are beyond anything you ever know about. And I was like, keep your heart open. And I just kept my heart open, and this dragon flying in front of me then proceeded to come towards me. And then it started to come closer, and it went into my heart. It went right through, and it kept on flying in until it reached a point where my heart just went boots, and it did a super expansion. And I was like super expanded. I dropped into my knees. I was crying because the love and the bliss was immense and incredibly big. And then after that point, it proceeded to float up and then out in a few months' time. But what I learned was that what dragon was an aspect of me from what I know as from the God worlds. So from 120D specifically, very high up. And it was essentially part of my spiritual, helping me as a catalyst to help me awaken and open my energy system, switch on and remember who I am, and to tap into a deeper, purer energy source, so that the part of me that was on 121D could actually, which is that part of me is the part of me that originally chose and planned to come here. So that's the part of me that did the planning, and that's the normal, natural part of me, is this aspect from the God worlds that is just me, the normal me. We're a mixture of so many things, and I'm simplifying it, but this is the original me that did the planning. But so that dragon was paving the way to help the real deeper me come through. And so come through, what I mean is like bringing me, my expression, my words, my movements, and translating my energy into this world, into this physical world. I'm not letting this dimension, this world control who I become. I'm not like adjusting and becoming a part of what it wants me to be, because my real purpose is to bring me, like everyone's purpose is to be themselves. So it was helping me come through. So yes, there are really benevolent dragons, and there's all kinds of dragon experiences, like, yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, you've also think that you've also touched on what why we need to do this work is because we often end up just responding to the environment and adapting and compromising, but that's not why we came here, is it, at all?
No, I don't. I feel like, as I said, it's a lot of us are here to be ourselves and to bring through our heart's desires, our true expressions, our passions, our true values, and really groundedly bring that through and manifest that, and to share and to expand our consciousness and all this good stuff. But bringing that, yeah.
Great. We've had a couple of questions from the audience. So Kim Healy is asking, do you write down your experiences in a journal?
I did. I have a few journals, but then I stopped. I really stopped a few years ago. I just couldn't keep up with it, and there's too much would happen. You know, I'd wake up, I'd have a bit of a dream journal as well, and they were really good, really handy. But I just would wake up and my writing is so bad. Like, I look at my books and I can't even read it. But,
okay, great. And Stephanie Maria Carter is asking, she loves your art. Does each picture have a different intention?
Yeah, each ultimately my art has the main intention of, like, I truly intend for people, when they look at it, for their own heart to open, for them to remember more of who they truly are, and to receive anything that's really good from it. But usually, like, I'm inspired to create art for different reasons, and it's like, for example, one of them, they could be for different reasons, but if I needed to create an art, like one of the newest ones is for specifically something called the Amethyst Order. And yeah, so that was about helping a transmission from them come through the artwork. And some of them are for specific groups. Like, I've done one for Emerald Order. I've done one for the Diamond Heart. I've done one for different things. Yeah, there's always a higher perspective, a deeper reason for it. But there's a higher perspective, and there's a very simple one, which is just to help you open your heart.
Oh, that's beautiful. I haven't seen that one. I see Emerald Order. Oh my gosh, that looks like underwater. That's so gorgeous. So who is the Emerald Order, Ermond?
The Emerald Order are part of, on a cosmic level, there's like a trinity, a cosmic trinity. And if some people would talk about like, these levels, first of all, are very much beyond our comprehension, very much almost unfathomable. So I'm putting a human spin on this and ultra simplifying it. But let's just say, to simplify, the source, a pure unified oneness, infinite. And let's say after it expands into a trinity, or goes into a trinity, and there's a emerald, and then there is a gold emerald order, a gold order, and then a magenta amethyst order. So that the emerald order, which is part of my lineage energetically, that's why I created that one.
That's what I thought. I was just thinking Ermond is probably like an acronym of Emerald Order. Ooh, what's this one?
This was, I think, had a gold order flavor to it. I think it had a bit of seraphim flavor to it. Again, if you look at the center of that, your point, access point. There's a lot of these are multi-dimensional, and they are, if you have the eyes to see, there are millions of layers of coding, so much more than what you just see on a physical level. But yeah, this has let's just see what the audience has to say. What do you feel?
Well, I'll just check it with Jeff, because he's been nodding his head. Jeff, you.
They look like tuna forks. Yeah, just going here.
You've got a mix of the
coffee with
geometric and then the organic.
Yeah, these kind of flow. They're not like I'm really planning on it. It just creatively, I'm in the flow. You know, I've got my music on, I've got my kombucha and chocolate, and you won't see me for 2 days. I'll be sitting on the computer, creating this artwork, and I'll just be on the zone, just going, yeah, let's just make this a bit curvy, and then let's go. It's just really flowy. Yeah, it's whatever the design, the creativity is just like whatever feels good to me.
So, people can go onto your website for this amazing art, and they can also come to you to help get access to the different dimensions or clear any blocks.
Yep, I do. My website's ermond.Machina.com. I do sessions with people that are around helping them realize their infinite self in a very direct experience way. And I also create the art, as I said, and you can also purchase art that I've already made, and I can print that out. And I also design art, and also I sell some shirts. And yeah, there's just check out my website, ermondmachina.com, and you can contact me there.
Yeah, Ermond was also offered to make a meditation, which we can't really do because we're on radio. But if you want to have a special Zoom session with a meditation, just leave a comment on the show. I'm sure Ermond will get back to you and organize something. Jeff, sorry I cut you off.
You're got it now. This is your feminine.
Yeah, this is like the feminine rising, as in like we all have, men and women have masculine and female energies. So it's not just for people with female bodies, it's for everyone. And it's that inner feminine, that inner feminine flavor that is rising, as in awakening, as in healing, as in expanding, as in expressing itself through more, and no longer being suppressed. And if you actually scroll down, Jeff, I did a representation of there's like that's what you are rising from. It's like this old tyrannical controller hand that's like, we'll control your So yeah, the female energy is huge. The mother energy, the daughter energy, and this awakening of this female energy is what's helping men and women return back to their heart and remember who they are. Because if we're always on the masculine, the go, 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 we're never ever going to tune into and soften to what's deeper within. We got to be both. And we just can't just have the masculine going forth. We also got to have the feminine to rise.
Right. Let's see. Another Blu-ray.
Yeah, this one I wanted to do an energy for the mother, but I think it has Blu-ray energy in it as well, which is connected to the mother as well. But it's like this infinite circle of infinite tunnels, infinite, just going deeper into the purity within. They were so fun to make, all of them. Very good.
Oh, everybody's just saying really. Run up a few there. So, you're in Brisbane, Queensland, and the fact is that people can come and get in touch with you through your Facebook site or perhaps through your website.
Yeah, I do have a Facebook as well. You could just look me up as my name, Ermond Machina. I do have a public page and a normal personal page, but my website is probably what I respond to faster. I'm a little bit slow on Facebook, but yeah, it's up on the screen. It's right there.
So, Ermond, last question from me. You wrote a blog about what it means to be an awakened man. Why did you write that blog?
I wrote that blog because I was inspired by a man, Rameka Chin, a brother. He actually wrote something about the awakened man. And when you read something and you're like, oh yeah, I can drop my 2 cents on that too. So I just wrote this blog about the awakened man. It's on my website, but I just say things how like awakened man is like a man who's felt his abandonment wounds all the way to his core opening, his heart, and he's awakened man has that healing presence for all men and women. An awakened man, it can be calm in a whirlwind of chaos, and not to appear like a strong for others or for his ego, but because he's strong, because his embodied wisdom and love is legit. An awakened man aligns to truth. Awakened man aligns to love. Awakened man knows the power control dynamics. An awakened man aligns to utilize his power, but he balances it with love and wisdom. Awakened man knows how to feel. Awakened man doesn't shut down his emotions. He's present with his emotions. He feels them fully, never abandoning himself like he did in the past. I did that one a few times. Awakened man can feel energy, right? Awakened man can get answers from his heart. An awakened man can see through his brothers that tell him to just harden up and stop being a pussy, and he offers them new perspectives from a place of compassion. Awakened man can be challenging to be around because he stays in his truth, and he will stay in his truth. And so you can't, he doesn't need your praise. He doesn't need any approval. He loves your approval, but he doesn't need any of it. He's whole within himself. And An awakened man honors all the women that he's had in his life. An awakened man he knows the competition game amongst all men. He knows that game very well, and he doesn't need to. His worth isn't determined by whether he is better or less than any other man or any other woman. His worth is self-defined by his own very existence, and as long as he exists, he knows he is worthy. An awakened man has eyes that will penetrate, looking straight deep into your soul. An awakened man has a presence. You know, when an awakened man walks into a room, his light, his energy will penetrate the room, not in a dominating or forceful way, but a penetrating light that will bring through such warmth and love to all the people around him. Awakened man is kind. Awakened man is, he can fully express himself. He's embodied. He's bringing through, like I said before, the energy and translating his energy into his expression. And he could probably sing if he wanted to. He could dance. He can have full range of movement. He's not like constricted like a robot. He's like fully himself, like fully flowing. Awakened man can talk. Awakened man can be many things. Yeah, it's a little spiel on the awakened man.
Oh, this is great hearing you say those words.
My pleasure.
Jeff, one awakened man to the other.
I've just taken time to illumination of the. You can feel it, can't you? It's trickling through.
That's my intention. I do intend to bring through the highest frequencies possible, the purest frequencies possible. And I've had people that aren't necessarily energetically sensitive or aware, but when they look at my art, they're somewhat drawn to it, or they'll somewhat feel there's something more to this. But it's cool.
You want to shed some light on it?
This one is energy of Divine Father. So when I talked about a Trinity, a cosmic Trinity, and I talked about like there's that cosmic Trinity, you can also say it's like a cosmic Father, cosmic Mother, cosmic Christ, or cosmic Son, what people call it. This energy, this is a part of the energy like I'm also supporting, and as one of my own personal missions is like bringing through this real divine masculine energy. But this is like a divine father, not like a false father energy that's currently rampant on this planet, but a real divine father energy. So when I went to transmit this particular piece, I can access gates. So I entered what I call the Father God gate, and I went into the space, and like, mind you, the first time I connected with this real cosmic father, it was like every bit of my being was like, you know, it's like we talked about different aspects before. It's like all the aspects in my entire stream was kind of like little kids running around, and the moment Dad comes in, everyone's like, "Oh shit, Dad's here!" And we were just like, "Yeah, fuck." We're like, "Dad's here!" Like we're like, everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, time to align now." So ever since I really connected with, mind you, I'm not talking about Father God as like an external thing. It's another aspect of us, but this Father God energy was, very powerful for me to connect with. And when I went in to transmit this particular piece, which the access point for this image is actually in the middle of the cross area, I was immersed in a big cosmic energy, and it was like I was in a big ocean, and I was like, could like barely move. Like the energy was so thick and dense, and people would describe dense of light, and people would describe it as strong or powerful or protective or whatever it is, whatever they experience. But this particular piece is very strong, some people say they purge from it, but some people say their heart opens from it. Yeah, people describe different things, but that's a legit Father God energy there.
Yeah, I can feel it all around me.
It's really
connecting and embracing.
And I've
Jeff,
got that.
how's it impacting you?
impacting you?
You see all these lines here. It looks like computer.
They're kind of like you know how they talk about masculine, like, you know, like a straight, and you've got the feminine, that's like the curves, masculine, and like a, yeah, it's just kind of like a masculine representation of energy, but it's full just my creative flow. Like, I'm not being directed to add lines or anything like that. I go what I love to create, and whatever brings me so much joy and passion. Yeah, that's how I. Has to be an expression of the heart. All this stuff is just expressions of my heart, essentially.
Looks like Dr. Tomoto. Oh, it's Dr. Tomoto.
This is oh yeah, Dr. Emoto. This is also Divine Father energy. Oh yeah, Emerald Divine Emerald's energy as well. This is earlier on. This is actually a commission piece I did for someone else. So they wanted like bits of nature, and they wanted the green, and they wanted that. So yeah, I created it for them. It's fun to create. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah.
It's nice.
I love this one. It's so simple, but this one is a transmission from what some people call as Christ consciousness, and it's not Christ like the individual, but the cosmic Christ consciousness, which is basically, you could say, is truth, love, unity, and that's what that energy is. And for this particular piece, I actually was guided to use a very specific blue, like that particular blue. If I used a different hue, like an ocean blue or a dark blue, the transmission would not be as powerful, because sometimes the color of the hue needs to be very specific for, like, when the light, that blue bounces like from the screen and goes into your eye, it's like travels through a bandwidth of light and energy. And sometimes this light and energy, the closer it is to the color, the higher frequencies of that particular energy can move through specific colors. So yeah, that color is very specific to this Christic Christ consciousness color. And yeah, the more accurate it was, the more powerful and the deeper in the heart it was. So it's a big heart opener, that one. It's probably one of my favorites for sure. This one is luminescence essence, I think. Yeah. It's about bringing your essence from within. Like, each one of us has a unique flavor of bliss and a unique expression of self that translates eventually into your human self. But it's about bringing that through into this world. And so if you feel it, like, it's a big heart opener as well. All of them are heart openers, really, but at the top of it, it's got 3 stars, and these were just particular stars that resonated with me at the time. One of them, Sirius B, to the very right. The middle one is M57, which is within Lyra. And then the far left one is Mirac Andromeda. These are all very, very good, very benevolent, very high frequency, awesome stars.
So we have Barbara asking, do you have synesthesia?
I'm not really clear on what the synesthesia is.
Well, that's when you like you smell something, but in your mind you can link it either to music, to one of the other senses, or to a visual.
Not so much. Like I sometimes I can maybe hear something, but not very much. So when I perceive these things, I'm mostly feeling based, and I'll feel the energy of it. I'll feel my heart open. I'll feel the depth it comes from. I'll feel just how the quality of it, I suppose, and different aspects or energies coming through.
I can probably add to that because I've been lucky enough to have Ermond do a session with me. And yeah, I was tuning in. He was tuning in. He gave a lot of information. He was doing a lot of energetic clearing, downloading a lot of energy. So this one's multi-talented. Not just dedicated to truth, but multi-talented.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. I do enjoy it. Oh, I love that stuff. Yeah. Oops.
Anyway, we're back on radio. Ermond Machina. Julia, try. We're just going through some of the artwork that's in the point. We've taken it up as the slide.
Suck it in. Sorry?
You got the Syrian.
Oh yeah, this is like do you remember the gold one that we had before? This is kind of similar, but the middle is different, and the energy is obviously different. Has a little bit of Syrian energy. I've got my blue. I love my blue. That's, excuse me, it's a strong energy point there. But yeah, this blue, I think it has some Blu-ray energy. It has some Syrian energy. But yeah, they're all. I have descriptions on this on my website. You can look into more of what I described of it at the time.
Very good.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ermond, for coming up to the show, sharing your journey, all those personal inner dimension experiences that you remember very well.
Thank you.
And giving us an insight into your art. It's so much better to hear you talk about it than just looking at it.
Yeah, no, thank you for the opportunity to share and to express this stuff. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Very good, brother. Okay. Just going to give you another promo there to let people know where they can log in.
Yep, just my website, ermondmachina.com, and yeah, you'll find everything there.
Can people come and see you person?
Yeah, I do sessions in person. I've got a place I can use in Stone's Corner for in-person sessions, but I can also travel to people, obviously only in the Brisbane, Gold Coast, the regions. But yeah, you can see me in person. Say hello. Always happy to connect. And, yeah.
Do you do remote sessions, Ermond?
Mostly, most of them have been remote at this point. They're just as powerful. But yeah, I do. If you go to the services section on my website, I offer 2 different remote sessions that can be remote. One is entering the God Gate type of a thing. So, and most of my sessions are helping you to realize your infinite self. And so it's shifting anything that might be limiting that and enhancing you to make it easier for you to perceive that infinite you that you naturally already are.
Cool. Ermond, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Next week,
Pleasure.
we've got Sarah Yip. Numbers girl. She's going to come and have a play with numbers. Anything else there?
Thank you to our dear audience for tuning in.
Good.
And I hope you're just as inspired as we were. Ermond.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a joy.
All right.
Hello.
So very good. So thanks for folks. And if you want to record on much later, you can ask some questions. We'll come back and have a look during the week. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Are we all fine?